When we give, the benefits of our giving have a ripple effect far beyond that one act of kindness. These four, from among many in our community, lived their lives to create enduring legacies to support their charitable values. At first glance, Patty Houck might not have looked like a leading citizen and master teacher. And in the final years of their lives, Patty and his wife Anne skimped on food, wore tattered clothing and worn shoes, and never went on pleasure trips. At the reading of their will, the community learned why the couple had so severely deprived themselves. They had been saving money to support an agricultural high school for future generations. In his will, Patty wrote, "For many years I have lived frugally and only regret that the amount available is so limited." Patty would have been astonished and pleased by what good has been done with the limited amount in his estate. Today, through careful management, the total fund is worth more than $2 million, and every year it provides approximately $100,000 in grants, benefiting 8 different school districts through programs at the Casey Center in Battleground.
Battleground Public Schools has been very appreciative over the last several decades to get money from the Patty Houck endowment. This 80-acre site has ponds, it has pathways through the forest, it has gardens, all of the things that Patty Houck said that he wanted students to learn, and for that I'm very, very grateful.
These grants from the Patrick Houck Endowment Fund will continue in perpetuity. Seven weeks after President John F. Kennedy was inaugurated in 1961, George Propst opened his first Burgerville drive-in. His formula of working hard, delivering a quality food product at a reasonable price, and treating employees fairly was a great success. But when George retired in his 70s, he and his wife Carolyn began another career, giving back to the community which had been so good to them. In the last 15 years of his life, George and Carolyn donated more than $13 million to civic causes through the Community Foundation for Southwest Washington, and forever changed the scope of local philanthropy.
George was a fantastic businessman, an outstanding businessman, and a very generous individual when it came to people in the community as well as people in the company. But he didn't want any recognition for what he was doing. But after he retired, and then he thought, this is the opportunity I have to set an example for the community about giving back, which he dearly believed in. So then he allowed his name to come forward with a lot of the projects that he took on after that. I'm just happy and proud to follow in his footsteps and to have this company be able to grow on the basis that he created it for us.
George and Carolyn gave generously to causes big and small, and the landmarks they funded dot our landscape. Together, they also directly helped hundreds of individuals and families through such programs as I Have a Dream, Head Start, playground and specialized equipment for students with disabilities, and community education and recreational programs. Jean Hewitt Lewis, who died in 2009 at the age of 87, leaving no heirs, was a very private person of modest means. Jean and her husband Don both entered work at the Camas paper mill immediately after high school and worked at the plant until retirement. The couple lived most of their lives on a small farm in Camas and tended their gardens and cared for their beloved dogs, holding on to a simple and austere lifestyle. During World War II, Jean coordinated the sale of bonds to other mill workers to support the war effort. Don preceded Jean in death, and before Jean passed away, she had the foresight to put her charitable wishes in her will. At her attorney's recommendation, her entire estate went to the Community Foundation, which established the Don and Jean Lewis Fund to support the Humane Society and the ongoing basic needs of individuals.
Jean was a perfect example of someone who didn't have a lot of money but was able to make a significant impact to this community. She gave her home to charity, A lot of people don't realize that you can give other assets to charity than cash. She loved her animals, and through her gift to the Community Foundation, our local Humane Society was able to finish paying off its mortgage on the new facility, and we are now able to continue to take care of animals into the future.
The first grant made from the Don and Jean Lewis Fund was for $100,000 toward the completion of the East Clark County facility. E.W. Furstenberg grew up during the Depression and always dreamed of being a banker. But his first professional job was as a high school business teacher. That aspect of E.W.'s career was brief, but the experience fueled his lifelong passion for supporting education. In 1936, E.W. began his banking career as an assistant cashier. Through hard work, careful investing, and extraordinary customer service, 14 years later, E.W. purchased that bank outright. Over the decades, he grew that single bank into a system of innovative and successful institutions with a strong focus on community service and financial support.
My father, through a lot of hard work, was fortunate enough to become a very successful business person. He was not only a good father, but a good role model for our family. He and my mother had a very simple philosophy, and that was that they felt because the community had been very good to them, that they should in turn give back to the community. They were able to do this through the Community Foundation. And it's great to see that the legacy will be carried on for future generations.
E.W. and his wife Mary gave generously, and their $15 million donation for the Furstenberg Patient Tower at Peace Health Southwest was the largest local gift up to that time. Another gift E.W. made recalled his early experience as a high school business teacher. At a casual lunch at the Clark County Skills Center, E.W. was impressed with the professionalism of the students. He requested a tour of the entire facility and inquired about any future needs of the Skills Center. This visit resulted in a $1 million Furstenberg pledge toward the construction of a technology center. Out of a desire to make the world a better place, each of these four gave in his or her own way, purposefully, out of love, to support their treasured values. Our community is home to some of the kindest and most generous people on earth. Their giving has helped us create the prosperity and high quality of life we enjoy today, and for that, we are profoundly thankful.